We think that demand for PGMs will continue to grow in line just about with world GDP. But we expect that current challenging market conditions and stressed balance sheets will result in constrained primary supply from South Africa. Longer term, we are optimistic about a more positive dollar pricing environment for our metals. The operational outlook for Northam is healthy. We have a stable production base at Zondereinde and a growing production profile from Booysendal. Cost-saving initiatives have been implemented across the group, and both operations are in a very competitive position on the cost curve. These are long-life, low-cost ounces. Our strategy of growing down the cost curve by developing shallow, mechanizable ore bodies has been extensively articulated. Project execution will be key for the foreseeable future. We'd also like to give some more detail on the growth projects. The picture on this slide shows the Merensky box cut at Booysendal North mine, with the first leg of the decline conveyor commissioned and delivering ore to a stockpile. In the background is a platform from which a ventilation hole is to be raised bored down to the underground workings. The Merensky project started just over 18 months ago, and we've established the required infrastructure for initial mining. Following the success of the trial mine and the milling exercise, we have decided to establish a small mine operation initially, targeting a production rate of 25,000 ounces per annum. This will be generated by one stoping crew. A development crew, in addition, will advance the decline system so that additional mining sections can be established if needed. We view this Merensky production module as a swing producer that can be scaled up or down as required. The capital estimate approved for this project is 300 million rand over 2 years, of which 75 million rand has already been spent. Moving on to the Booysendal UG2 deepening project. The deepening of the UG2 mine at the north is a logical and capital efficient extension of the original capital footprint, and this maximizes the installed infrastructure. 2 additional levels will be created, which equates to 4 additional production sections. Only 2 sections will be mined, and the other 2 will be held in reserve for contingency. The deeper section of the mine will be decoupled from the upper levels by a reef silo, which will feed the original footwall conveyor. The conveyor decline cluster for the deeper section of the mine will be totally on reef from now on. Further down dip extensions will also be on reef, and this removes waste development from the UG2 mine. The first phase of the project is the excavation and the equipping of the silo, which is expected to be complete by July 17. And the approved capital estimate for this project is 270 million rand over 3 years, of which 60 million rand has already been spent. Moving on to Booysendal South. In June, the Northam board approved a 4.2 billion rand project over 6 years to develop the Booysendal South and Central area. The project comprises 2 UG2 mining modules and 1 small Merensky mining module similar to the North mine. This capital footprint will produce 240,000 ounces per annum. The 2 UG2 modules will be accessed via a common central portal complex, which minimizes the environmental footprint and reduces the capital requirement. Ore will be delivered from this point to the concentrator in the south by an aerial conveyor system. The north and south mines will also be connected by a road across the provincial boundary. Permitting is one of the longest lead items in a project of this nature, taking sometimes 18 to 24 months. EIA and EMP submissions require a number of specialist studies to be undertaken. These are in progress and will run in parallel with the early works program. Work has started on the site, as you can see from the photographs on the right, within the confines of the existing environmental permission, which covers the box cut area. Bulk earthworks are in progress for the central portal complex in the distance and a pollution control dam in the foreground. The top picture shows the installation of soil pins and gunouting on the first bench of the box cut. In addition, work has started on the access road and temporary power and water has been laid onto the site for construction purposes. The early works program will continue throughout the year. Detailed engineering design of the rope conveyor is in progress at the supplier in Austria. And just to recap once again on the existing infrastructure that we've purchased from Aquarius and that will be incorporated into the Booysendal South development plan. These assets include a 250,000 ton per month PGM concentrator with an integrated chrome extraction plant, a tailings dam with approximately 8 years capacity, plus a site for an additional tailings dam. Surface infrastructure such as workshops, stores, offices, roads and change houses, as well as sufficient power and water allocations for the mining effort. Expanding our processing capacity is key to our growth ambitions. The construction of the new 20 megawatt furnace and drying plant at the existing Zonderende smelter complex was approved by the board at a capital cost of 750 million rand. The photograph on the slide shows progress to date. The furnace base walls are complete and the furnace shell is being erected. To the right of the photograph is the foundations of the drying plant. Commissioning of the furnace is expected to be complete in the latter half of 2017 calendar year. Gross capital expenditure to date is 292 million rand, and the first tranche of the Heraeus contribution, amounting to 10 million euros, has been received. The new mining charter is likely to focus on ownership and living conditions. The successful conclusion of our empowerment transaction and the listing of Zambezi Platinum has restored Northam's BEE ownership, equity ownership that is, to 31.4%, well above the current requirement of 26%. At Zonderende, the hostel conversion program continues, and by December 2016, all employees that choose to live in residence will have a single room accommodation. In addition, the company's newly implemented housing strategy has been well received, with a number of employees taking advantage of the opportunity to acquire their houses for the first time. We've been quite active in strengthening the balance sheet with the issue of 425 million rands in new domestic medium-term notes and renewing the revolving credit facility. We will continue to manage the balance sheet to ensure that Northam is well funded to execute all the projects